Good morning. This is 15 minutes to 11 a.m. being 11th of August 2023. This is OTC on the main road leading to Makurdi, few kilometers to Makurdi. So this is the main road, the main express road from Lafia to Makurdi, from Makurdi to Lafia. The road has been blocked since morning. Men, women, children have gathered on this main road to protest against the Herdsmen attack last night. And so there is no movement at all. We are stranded here. Everyone is halted. All vehicles have been halted here. They are seeking for government attention. And since morning, no any government officials have come here to address them. We are stranded here. We cannot go forward because the roads are completely blocked. There is very thick traffic here, as you can see. So we are calling on security agents. We are calling on Benue State government. We are calling on the federal government to please come to our aid. Kindly come and address the people of this community. They have been crying since morning and nobody heed to their cry. And they resolve to keep this road locked until government have come to address them. They have their own cry, they have their own complaints, they have their own grievances. Kindly come to our aid. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So if you are going to Lafia this morning, be informed. You may need to reschedule your journey. If you are going to Makurdi this morning, you may need to reschedule your journey because the road is completely halted. We are stranded here. Thank you very much.
Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything about things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election held in Nigeria, in which the result of that election is being challenged at the Presidential Election Petition Court, and finally it will get to the Supreme Court. But while we are at it, as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was controversially declared the winner of that election, is the president of Nigeria, and he is running the country right now. And how he is running the country has also had a lot of ramifications for the economy, for the development, for the unity of the country. Right now, the video you just saw is the forgotten war going on in Nigeria, while the country is more concerned about waging war with the Niger Republic over democracy in that country. Now, the video you just saw was shot by a Nigerian who was a passenger traveling across Benue State, who was unable to continue his journey because the frustrated people of that community have suffered enough in the hands of Herdsmen in their community, in their state. Their governor, Reverend Alia, has virtually done nothing in terms of building on the effort of the former governor of Benue State, who did a lot to see how to contain the activities of herdsmen who have turned themselves into a law unto themselves, spreading killings, displacements, hunger, and starvation in Benue State and in many parts of the country. It is unfortunate that this is happening and no effort is being made by the present administration to contain this menace. And this menace is the major reason why the cost of goods of food in Nigeria is so expensive. Forget about the fact that removal of fuel subsidy has added to the mix. The floating of the naira has added to the mix, while Nigerians are suffering today. But at the root of it is the inability of farmers across Nigeria. Across Nigeria, hear me very well. It is not only in this Benue video that you saw that farmers are lamenting about the menace of herdsmen who have constituted themselves unto laws unto themselves, to the level that many farmers do not have access to their farms. These herdsmen comes in various dimensions. They come in various dimensions. Some come directly as herdsmen. Some come around as bandits. Whichever way you look at it, they constitute a serious menace. Why things are the way they are in the country in terms of starvation, spreading poverty. Several parts of Nigeria, from Abia to Benue, Benue to Enugu, Enugu to Plateau, Plateau to Bayelsa, Bayelsa to Oyo State, Oyo State to Osun State, Osun State to Kaduna State, Kaduna State to Taraba State, Taraba State to Adamawa State. These headers has constituted a war unto them. They are the one leading a war that is going on in this country that is not being talked about as it should. In fact, if this issue, this problem had been faced headlong with the kind of way that President Tinubu was going after the Nigerian junta, I think he would have done a lot of good for the development of this country, for food security in Nigeria, for success in the endeavors of those who live in rural communities. Let's stress the fact. Over 80% of Nigerians live in rural communities, and agriculture is the mainstay of the economy in rural communities. And I can tell you for free, many Nigerians who are farmers in rural communities do not have access to their farms, or they are terrorized if they even attempt to go to their farms. There are many communities in northern Nigeria, from Plateau to Kaduna to Katsina and many places, that do not have access to their farms because these herdsmen have told them not to access their farms without their authorization. Already there are reports, you can go and Google it, where farmers in Kaduna State were told not to go to farm unless they pay these herdsmen money to be able to access their farms. Now, these are major problems facing Nigeria. They are the reason why the cost of food across the country is unbearable for most Nigerians. So that is a fact that must be faced, that these people are a menace, and government of Nigeria, including the present administration that Tinubu is heading, until we see what the Supreme Court will say about it, whether it will continue to be. The fact remains that until this issue of herdsmen taking over communities, sacking communities, destroying communities, killing people, killing farmers, not allowing them to access their farm, until this is handled and addressed squarely, Nigeria is going to continue to be in a perpetual state of hunger and starvation, and the rural economy will be destroyed. There are instances, you that is watching this, I'm sure in your community there are many forests where people used to go to farm before. They cannot attempt to go to those places because herdsmen have literally taken over everywhere. Now, one would have thought for a government of Tinubu that that promise to provide security, that is one of the key areas you should face instead of talking about the Niger Republic. You can see the frustration on the faces of these Benue farmers. They cannot take it anymore. Their governor has failed them. Earlier, the new governor, the Reverend Father, who is now governor, has virtually done nothing. He was not vocal enough. Many killings are going on allegedly in that by headers in that state, but they are not as reported as when the former governor was in charge, because the former governor was very vocal in drawing attention. If this recent killing that happened in that state, were to happen under the former governor, he would have made noise about it, draw the attention of the local and international community about what's happening. You can see the new governor, perhaps because he's an APC member, try to cover it up, sort of, by not making noise about it. That was what forced those women to take matters into their own hands, to block the road so that the world will see. But even at that, how many media houses reported that? How many mainstream media reported what happened there? So it is important that this forgotten war that is going on all over Nigeria, war against Nigerian sedentary farmers, be addressed once and for all. The former governor of Benue State, Otto, he enacted anti-grazing law. That law, is it still being implemented now that he's not in power? Is that law still being enforced? The anti-grazing law, anti-open grazing law by Otto, former governor Otto, was basically to address the menace of Herdsmen. But even at that, he faced a lot of backlash from the federal government and other interested stakeholders, including the headers themselves, the official mouthpieces, literally telling everyone that they are not going to obey the law, a law that was passed by the State House of Assembly of Benue State. They said they will not obey it. This menace is happening in many parts of in Taraba State, in Benue State, in Plateau State, in Southeast, in Abia State, in Imo State, several parts of this country. And don't think that what you saw these women demonstrate is that women in Edo State wouldn't want to do that, because there are several local governments in Edo State where headers have taken over the forest that farmers cannot go to their farms. And you think that people will be able to have enough food to eat, that farmers in the communities will be able to have the kind of empowerment they ought to have from what is grown in their land. They cannot have access to their farms. They cannot grow crops in their farms. They cannot harvest in their farms. Because headers, gun welding, AK-47 welding headers are terrorizing them, raping women, stopping them from going to their farms. Now, these are the issues that ordinarily ought to preoccupy the attention of the Nigerian Senate, the attention of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that chasing shadows in the Niger Republic under the guise of fighting for democracy. A democracy that cannot allow people in Benue, in Enugu State, in Abia State, in Nasarawa State, to access their farm. And yet you want to spread democracy there in the Niger Republic. In Nigeria that has democracy, farmers cannot go to farm, because non-state actors have taken over the forest, taken over their farmlands. In Plateau State, there is virtually no part of this country that these headers have not used muscle to muzzle their way into people's lands and claim it literally with force of arm. And we are not doing anything about it. Instead, we are talking about the Niger Republic. How to go and lead war there. when we should concentrate the forgotten war going on in Nigerian communities. Perhaps many people have forgotten. And there's a report by Amnesty International. According to the Amnesty International, between 2016 and 2018, Amnesty International recorded 312 cases of attacks in 22 states in Nigeria, estimating loss of over 3,000 lives and displacement of over 180,000 people, suggesting that the Herdsmen are the fourth deadliest terrorist group in the world. Now we are dealing with the fourth deadliest terrorist group in the world. We have not tackled it. We have not dealt with them because they are dealing with our farmers. They are dealing with our local communities. We have not dealt with them, but we are busy trying to reinstall a president that was kicked out by the junta in Niger Republic. A president that was probably very unpopular to the level that people were celebrating his exit from power. We want to reinstall him. We are threatening them. But we are not threatening those who are stopping the farmers from going to farm. Those who are spreading poverty, hunger, and starvation all over the place. Because at least if the farmers can go to the farm, they should be able to produce what they can eat, be able to feed themselves, be able to contribute to the economy of the country. But no, they are not. Right now, because of these headers, there are many parts of the country that never had internally displaced persons. There are millions of internally displaced persons. The report I just read to you was in 2018 by the Amnesty International. Now think of what is happening right now. In the Benue State alone, there are over 2.1 million internally displaced persons that cannot go back to their communities. They cannot farm. These are farmers that could have contributed to the growing of tomatoes, growing of yam, growing of rice, beans, and the many other staples that we have in this country. But we're not talking about it. We're not elaborating on it. That many people are sleeping with two eyes open in Benue State, in Plateau State, and in many parts of the country because of the menace of the Herdsmen. It is an issue that needs to be addressed. What is the final solution to the spread of deaths, displacements that is going on across Nigeria by Herdsmen? What is the final solution? Many of the states that they are terrorizing have also enacted anti-open grazing law, like Taraba State. Yet, this menace have not stopped in Taraba. Many other states across the country have enacted this law. They follow the example of Benue State in enacting anti-open grazing law. But are they being enforced? How many times have you read in the newspapers that the violators of anti-open grazing laws in Benue, in Taraba, in other parts of the country, have been taken to court, be sentenced? But no, you don't hear that. What you hear is anytime you tune on your radio in the morning, newspaper review, 20 killed today in Plateau. Government killed 20 in Plateau. Government killed 30 in Benue. Government killed 40 in Taraba. Government killed 10 in Anambra. Government killed 20 in Sokoto or wherever. And you investigate this, they say the farmers are being killed. Farmers are being terrorized in their own farms, in their own land, in their ancestral homes they inherited from their forebears. They cannot farm them. This unreported and underreported war going on in Nigeria should be the concern of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu instead of talking about Niger Republic. And if the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, say that Tinubu ought not to be the president of Nigeria, whoever succeeds Tinubu, be it P2B, should also ensure that this underreported war going on in Nigeria is tackled. Because we talk about P2B talking about in his campaign, talking about increasing the productivity of Nigeria, moving Nigeria from being a consuming nation to a productive nation. And we cannot do that without tackling the menace of Herdsmen. Because most time you hear people talk about the fact that the vast agricultural land in the north is the new oil of Nigeria or something like that. It's where the future of Nigeria's development lies. But you cannot have that. That cannot work until the herdsmen are made to obey the law, are made to embrace modern system of rearing animal, modern system of husbandry. That cannot work. We cannot be able to move from consumption to production without tackling this. That is a major issue that Peter Obi will address if the Supreme Court in its wisdom declares him the next president of this country. And the one that is occupying it right now, if you really want Nigeria to develop, if you really want to stop hunger and starvation, go and check the indices now. Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. At the root of this poverty is the inability of farmers to be able to farm in their land because of insecurity, because of displacement, because they are being killed at will, because of lack of access to their ancestral lands. These farmers did nothing wrong in trying to cultivate a land that they had inherited from their forebears, from generation to generation. Now they cannot even have access to that. Government has removed subsidy for them. Government is floating the naira. Government does not provide, virtually knows nothing for them. But for them to even access their farmland, they cannot access it. So what is the essence of government? The reason government came into existence, if you go and study the emergence of governance, is because government came to take the place of security and protection of lives and property of the people. They handed over their protection of their life and property to the government, so that government will have that responsibility while they concentrate in developing their life. Now, government of Nigeria is failing woefully in that responsibility, which call into question what is the essence of their existence as a government. Why should those Benue women be forced to occupy the streets, to occupy the roads, to block the movement of people? Interstate travel, they blocked it because their government has failed them at both the state and the federal level. Instead of this government to concentrate on improving the welfare of the people by providing security for them, the government is more concerned about Mohamed Bazoum, who was kicked out of power, apparently for doing what his people does not want. Because if his people love him, they would have occupied the street and resisted the junta. But they did not. Instead, what we found on the streets of the Niamey are people celebrating his exit, rejoicing that he is gone. But people are in Abuja under the guise of ECOWAS, threatening war against the junta and against the people of Niger. Back home, farmers cannot access their farms. Farmers are dying of hunger and starvation. Communities are being sacked. Communities are being killed. We are having IDPs in places where we never had it before. Initially, most of the IDPs were in the northeast. Now we have IDPs all over the place, including the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. That shows that really, like the Horewa people said, our president is pursuing rat in Niger Republic, while his house in Nigeria is on fire. So this issue must be addressed squarely. What must be done to compel the headers to stop killing Nigerians, to stop taking over their lands, to stop creating internally displaced persons all over this country. That is the issue that needs to be addressed well. And that should be the concern of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu or any other person that the Supreme Court may announce as the new president of Nigeria, according to whatever evidence that is before them. That is the major issue that needs to be addressed. The war going on in Nigeria. There is a war going on, whether we like it or not. There's a war going on. And that war is a war that is threatening food security in Nigeria, that is threatening the lives of the people. So many people have died in defense of their fatherland, in defense of their ancestral homes, because of herdsmen invasion, to take over their communities by force, to stop them from farming in their communities, to stop them from harvesting their crops. No nation will tolerate this, and Nigerian leaders should not tolerate it. They should not sweep it under the carpet. They should go after these militant headers who are killing people. These militant headers that force women of Benue, men of Benue, who should be in their farms, producing food to feed their families and sell excess to the local and international market. These headers that made them do this should not be allowed to go unpunished. There is a need to restore security in our rural communities, in our farmlands, in our bushes, in our forests, if truly we want to conquer hunger and starvation in Nigeria. Unless we are just living in food's paradise, that we want to have food security, but the people that can provide the food security are unprotected. They are left to be killed by militant headers. It should not be so. Nigeria has to fight this war at home and deal with it and subdue these terrorists. If not, the future of Nigeria is really very bleak. Thank you for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you will be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.